अरिहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नवाय स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर चोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So today we are going to take this study of Balbodh part 1 further. So far we have completed 4 chapters. Okay, Namokar Mantra, the 4 Mangals, Tirthankar Bhagwan and Dev Darshan. Today we will be beginning with the 5th chapter, living and the non-living. So the path of liberation that can only be achieved by practicing discriminative knowledge, and this chapter is the first chapter in the series of whatever we are going to study in the next 5 years about discriminative knowledge. So unless and until we don't have clarity in our knowledge, we cannot experience ourselves. So if you ask me, one topic that is going to liberate us is discriminative knowledge. So 2 things different. Okay, we are believing it to be one. Just for example, soul and the body. These are 2 separate entities. But we believe that I am the body. Okay. So if you believe that if you are the body and you don't believe that you are the soul, that means your belief is wrong. You have mixed up both the things. Soul is different. It has a different entity. And our body is a different entity. Our body is made of matter, Pudgal Dravya, matter substance. And our soul is consciousness. It can know, it can experience pleasure and pain, right? But the body cannot experience pleasure and pain. The body does not have the knowledge. We all must have seen that when a person dies, his body remains here, okay? But the soul immediately takes birth into another body. And that's how the cycle goes on. Innumerable times, birth and death, birth and death. And this has been going on since time eternal. So with these studies, with this knowledge, we are going to break that cycle. And we are going to get us liberated, and that will solve the problem once and all. You know, again you take birth in the next whatever state of existence you can take birth, depending on the karmas that you have done in this life. Okay, but again we may not know that where, if we are getting a human birth again or not. And in case if we are getting a human birth, we are going to get this religion or not. Even if we are going to get this religion, we will have access to this kind of teachings. And even if we have access, how many will be able to join and continue? That is very important. Some of the students we see in today's class were absent in last class. Some new students might have also joined. So this keeps on going. It is not easy to join this kind of course, first of all. And if you have if you have dared to join this course, then the next challenge is to keep on continuity, right? So there are a lot of factors which goes along for you to attend this class. You know, if you want to join a entertainment club, if you want to join a swimming class, if you want to join a whatever, different kinds of classes that are going on. So you will always find company, you will always find the source, everything will be so smooth. But when it comes to this kind of education, which is going to liberate you, then it's very difficult to sustain and continue. Why? Can anyone answer? Why? Yeah.
Because it is totally opposite from the real world, from the world that we live in.
Right. One valid point Madam May had given is that we are going against the flow. The whole world is going towards, we can say, they're not progressing in the sense that morals are getting down, and the time that is going to come is going to be very tough time, Already you can see 25, 30 years ago, life was so simple. 50 years ago, life was so simple. There were no mobile phones, no so much of technology, but people were happy, There were no tensions, anxiety, depression, nothing like that. But now, with the advance, of course, there is an advance in technology, and we are taking the benefits of this, like this class. We are doing it on Zoom, and anybody from anywhere can join. So this was not the case earlier. But along with this, there are certain things that the technology has brought us, like internet and social media and other things, which take most of the time of the people right now. So you see, getting into this kind of study is going to be always difficult, because now I'm going to give you the main reason. There is a karma by the name of Monia. It has two parts. One is Darshan Moh, other one is Charitra Moh. So one is related to wrong belief, and the other one is related to the passion. Now, because of this wrong belief and passion, we are not able to connect in this kind of studies easily, as it is so easy to join a swimming club or entertainment club or some other forms of entertainment, 5 sensory objects. It's very easy to get indulged into 5 sensory objects, and you will also find people to accompany you in those things. Like if you consider a addict, he may be a drug addict, he may be an alcoholic addict, some other. So he will always find, he's always find friends for that, and it is very easy to catch up those habits, even if you are in touch with some people having this kind of vices, you will see that automatically they will draw you. Means you will be drawn. They will draw you, but you will be drawn towards those very fast. But in case of this kind of studies, it requires special effort. It requires special effort to have access to it. It requires special effort to join it. And it requires special effort to continue it and complete it. Because after this education, there will be no life, no birth and death. You will end up this cycle of birth and death, and you will get liberated. So once you get liberated, you don't come back into this mundane existence. Okay. So this is something unique that we have. In fact, I would say it is because of our good luck and destiny that we have got access to this kind of knowledge, and just putting it a little bit of efforts, we can understand the principles. And if we can understand the principles and contemplate on that, then we can easily apply in our day-to-day life situations. And you will see that in the same situation, you are absolutely happy. Otherwise, there were instances where you were dragged on, and you got indulged in all kinds of passions and other sinful activities. So this is something very unique, and we have never studied about this. Okay. It may happen that we had done some studies in the last birth, or maybe a few births before that also. And then again, because of some karmas, we got disconnected. And again, because of our some good auspicious karma, we are able to connect again. So in this way, if you see, we are very fortunate to have this access, but that much is not going to carry us through. We need to put in some special extra effort to keep regularly, continuously attending this classes live. Okay. So in the very first class, I have explained you that attending a class live and doing it on recording, it makes a very big difference, in the sense that you are not very serious while you are listening to a recording, because there is nobody to, look after you. But when you are attending a live class, our attention is always there on the class. And in between, I ask you questions also. And in between, I ask you to read the chapter also. So more or less, people are alert, and that makes the understanding and the teaching more meaningful. So it is always good. But as I said, some people have some issues always. Somebody had messaged me that they will not be attending today's class because they have some other commitments. So something or the other always comes up. But the challenge is that you navigate those problems and keep yourself focused in this kind of studies. And it is not the facts or the studies that is going to bring happiness to you, but it is your approach. How do you approach it? How much priority you give to this in your life? So depending on the priority, you may not have time to attend the class, but your priority is this one, then sooner or later you will catch up with it. But if you are not sure why you have joined this class, and if you are not sure what benefit you are going to get from this kind of class, because there will be people who would tell you that this is not the right age to get into religion and this kind of studies. This is the time to, do the earnings, and you should work extra. You should have, you should take up more jobs, than what you are still capable. So there are many people who will advise like you, like this, but there will be very rare people who will advise you to join a course like this. And it is quite evident and obvious that not many people will be able to join this class. So we have, because this is a global class, we have worldwide 700 trillion, 700 crores people, or more than that, total population in the world. But how many have access to this kind of knowledge? And if, as I said, even if you have access, it is very difficult to join and continue. So already you have cleared the first hurdle, and I would say very fortunate and lucky. But the next challenge is to keep continuing attending the class. So long you are attending the class, you will always feel motivated and will always get ahead in this spiritual knowledge. But once you start missing the classes, then it's you leave that momentum, and that is what the monia karma does. Because of this monia karma, since he has been uh, ruling over us, guiding us since time immortal, so that karma is itself a non-living entity. Okay, and he cannot do a partiality to someone else and help someone else. It is not that. It is a very automatic system, and nobody is managing it. It is very self-managed, and depending on the kind of sentiments that you manifest. Okay, similarly, the bondage of karma happens every moment. So your wish and desire to join this kind of course is already giving you auspicious bondage, and that auspicious bondage is of a special kind. Some auspicious, because of some rise of some auspicious karma, you get good things in life. Okay, good family, good house, good job, good money, good car, you name everything which is object of comfort for you, it is just because of auspicious karma that you are getting. And simultaneously, you can just open the newspaper and you see people have so kind of problems, new type of problems coming up. I think I not checked today's newspaper, but there are some 40 odd people who has been trapped in a mine since last 12-13 days, and there has been special effort going on to save those people, those workers, and even the experts from foreign countries have also been called, and they are pretty confident to pull them out. But unless and until they pull them out, it's again a risk that is always there. So you never know that where you will land up in a problem. Just because there is a rise of inauspicious karma, all the difficulties will come into your life. But these studies will help you to come out of these problems. In fact, this study says that there is no problem in this universe. What we believe as to be a problem is not a problem as such. Okay, it is just that there are independent substances in this universe, different kinds of infinite substances. Okay, and each substance has his unique identity, each substance has his unique existence, each substance has his unique power and ability to perform his duties and responsibilities, and there is no one that can help you. Not a one substance can help another substance. And the last and the most beautiful part is that each substance in itself is complete. So if I am lacking in something, then I need someone's help. But if I am complete in myself, then I don't need anybody's help, and that is the true nature of the substances. And once you know the true nature of the substances, you become fearless. You start enjoying, you come out of anxiety and depression, and you are always in a cheerful, happy, enthusiastic mood. Nobody can, make you unhappy. Nobody can make you miserable. So it is your own, I can say, power, to make yourself happy or painful. So these are the choices that we need to exercise, and doing a right choice at the right time, that is what we call talent. A person who is talented always taps the right opportunities and stick to that opportunity and ultimately enjoy the fruition of that act or action. So coming to this lesson, as we were discussing the importance of discriminative knowledge. Okay, so two different things. We believe it to be one, that is our wrong belief, and now with these studies we are able to discriminate between the two. So two different entities. And this chapter of living and non-living actually helps us in making that understanding very clear. So the name of the chapter is the living and the non-living, and I would say Janvi to read through. I'll make co-host, so she can, Urjaji can also join, share the PDF. Yeah. So do you have the book? You have to unmute.
I have the PDF. I don't.
Okay, okay. You can carry on.
Sir, you can just unmute, make the co-host to the other Urja Jain also. I've logged in from my laptop. It'll be easy.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
1 minute.
Are you going to be screen sharing it as well?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Shall I start?
You can start.
Lesson number 5, the living and the non-living. Hiralal. How sweet is my name? Nyanchand. Yes, sweet it certainly is. Though a diamond is valuable, it is lifeless. Would you like to be transformed into a non-living? Hiralal. What do you mean by the living and the non-living? Nyanchand. Don't you know the living beings? You are yourself a living being. One who knows and perceives is a living being. In other words, one who possesses the power of perception, that is Gnan, is a living being. And non-living, that knows not and possesses no power of perception, is non-living. Both you and I are living beings because we possess the power of knowing. Diamond, gold, silver, table, chair, etc. are non-living as they do not possess the power of knowing. Hiralal. What are the other signs of the living and the non-living beings? Nyanchand. The living beings feel pleasure and pain, whereas the non-living does not. We are living beings since we feel pleasure and pain. The table and chair do not feel pain or pleasure, and so they are non-living objects. Hiralal. Our eyes sees, hears, and the body feels pain and pleasure. So is our body a living being? Nyanchand. No. The eye never sees and the ear never hears. The seer and the hearer is our soul, quite separate from them. If the eye and the ear possesses the power of seeing and hearing, a dead body should also see and hear. So the body is non-living and its organs, eyes and ears, etc. are also non-living. Hiralal. Now I have understood that I am a living being, that the body is a non-living, that I am possessed of the powers of knowing, and that the body does not have this power. I know the body does not know. Nyanjan. If you've understood the difference, please tell me whether an elephant is a living or a non-living. Hiralal. Like our body, the bodies of the elephant and other living beings are non-living, but their souls are living. I have understood all this, but please let me know what benefit is derived from this knowledge. Nyanjan. Without knowing this, we cannot have correct understanding of our soul, and without such understanding, we cannot attain real happiness. Since all of us wish to be happy, we should have this knowledge. We can ourselves attain goodhood by understanding the reality about the living and the non-living.
Very good. So you can see that there were few points in this chapter which was able to differentiate between two substances. One is a living substance and one is a non-living substance. So what are the qualities? The first and foremost is the knowledge and perception. So knowledge is such a unique quality, or you can say attribute of the soul. No one has this attribute, no other substance, whatever you see across through your eyes is all non-living beings. But soul is a living being because it has knowledge and perception. Knowledge is Gyan, perception is Darshan. Okay. So because of this quality of Gyan and Darshan, okay, the soul as a general nature is only a knower and seer. Okay. So our function is limited to just knowing and seeing. We don't go beyond that. But because of delusion, we believe that we are doing such things. We are only teaching. We are only doing engineering jobs. We are doing only MBA. We are only a chartered accountant. We are only a doctor. There are a lot of titles that we have put ourselves in, and we believe that we are doer of all those things. So this is your belief, okay? But in actuality, in reality, you don't become a doer. You may believe that you are the president of this country. You may believe, okay? Even there are some people, if you go to a mental hospital, they say such things, that I am the president of this, and they are in a mental hospital because of their, this kind of thought process. And they might believe that they are a president, but they don't become. Similarly, we also are mental problems. We are also a patient of a mental hospital only because of our wrong belief. So the moment you have a right belief, you are I would say a genuine human being. Okay. And before that, you may believe you are to be a human being, but in actuality, you are a patient of a mental hospital. So the delusion, the power of delusion, the function of delusion is such, they don't allow us to believe what we are. So knowledge and perception, the one who possesses the attributes of knowledge and perception is a living being. So that is the first and the unique characteristics. This is only the characteristics through which we can identify a living being. If he is able to know, that means it's a living being. And now I'll give you one example of modern times. Now robots are doing many of the things. Robots can, do medical operations also, and there are multiple functions that robots are now doing. Even if you go to a hotel, they serve you the food through robots, and these are all very new things coming up. And but does that robot have a knowledge and perception quality? No. Why? Because it is full of material matter. It is full of matter only. It is not a soul substance. Okay. But we are a soul substance. Although we are now inside this body. Okay. We do exist inside this body. But still, that body has not touched us. And we as a soul have not touched the body. Even there are karmas with us, but we have not touched the karma, or the karma have not touched us. So you see, we as a soul, our job is to just to know and see, nothing else. But we go beyond that, and because of delusion, we believe that we are the doer of things. So the first and foremost thing that we should understand is that knowledge and perception is the only quality with the soul. No other substances has this quality of knowing. So soul has this quality. So this is the first thing. How we identify a soul? Through this knowledge. The one who is able to know and perceive is a soul. What else? The living being feels pleasure and pain. The experience of sukh and dukh, that only a living being experiences. So that is the second quality. So the first one was knowledge and perception. The second one is the one who has a feeling of pain and pleasure. Okay. Whereas a non-living thing does not feel pain and pressure. So the examples given here is a diamond, gold, silver, table, chair, laptop, mobile. We have all these kind of things, but they are all non-living things. Similarly, robot is also a non-living thing. Although it has been trained to perform certain duties which otherwise a human would have performed, and the technology is getting smarter and smarter day by day, and there are a lot of functions that robot is going to do in the near future. If you see, there are a lot of research going on this line, and actually what is working inside that robot, again, that there is a electronic chip or circuit, some circuits are there, and that is functioning all these functions, and that has been programmed by artificial intelligence, and so that robot can perform certain functions just like a human being. But still it is not a living being, because it cannot experience pleasure and pain. It cannot have knowledge and perception, although they are functioning, doing certain functions which you feel is just because they have a knowledge, but actually they are programmed. So they have set up certain parameters that if this is the case, then this thing will happen, and if this is the case, and it has been all structured and programmed, and that's why it is able to, independently do certain functions. But it is not a soul in real. There is no soul in that. It's already a dead body. Similarly, our body is also like a robot. It does not function according to our wishes. Okay. Now, everyone, sometime or the other, must have experienced some kind of fever or some other diseases, you know. So we don't want to fall ill in the first place, but it is not in our hand. Okay. So our body and our all things that we are getting in our life, you know, it is all very structured through the karmas. And because of that, certain things always happen even if we don't have a faintest of desire to do those things. But it happens automatically because this body is not in our control. This body is of matter, is made up of matter, and it is functioning independently of the soul. And soul is also independent. It is also not functioning according to the body. Both are independent of one another, but both are together so long as we have Ayu karma, another karma's name, Ayu karma, that defines when we take birth in this body, that how much time you will be there in this body, the duration. And at that exact time, we will definitely leave this body. It's not going to be late by even a second, you know. It's so much of organized and automatic system, you know, that we are a part of that system. And so, as I said, because of our good luck and destiny, we are here as a human being. But we are not going to be remain here permanently. Okay. So we also be leaving this body when our Ayu karma gets over, or when the time of our duration in this life will get to an end. So every day you see a lot of accidents happening across the country, you know. At least in our newspaper, we have news for our country only. But if you consider the whole world, there is always an accident happening every now and then. Road accident, some other forms of calamities, some other forms of, you know, earthquake and flood, and, you know, so many natural calamities coming up, and people are dying in huge quantity, you know. So what could be a reason? Again, because of their Ayu karma getting over, they have to leave this body. So body and soul are two different entities, and soul is something who has this attribute of knowing and seeing, and who can also feel pleasure and pain. Now, in this chapter, there was an example. If you would have understood the difference, please tell me whether an elephant is a living or a non-living. So, the body of the elephant and all other living beings is non-living, is made up of matter. Okay. But the soul is a living being. It has knowledge, it has perception, it can feel pain and pleasure. And that's why it's a soul. So what is the benefit derived from knowing this knowledge? Without knowing this, we cannot have a correct understanding of our soul. So why do we want to understand the soul? What is the soul's function? Why do we want to understand that? Because of delusion, we are not able to understand the exact nature of our soul, and we believe ourselves to be some other things than the soul itself. Okay, so that is the biggest problem that a human, that a soul has in this universe, and that is because of delusion. And as we start studying the scriptures, you know, the scriptures, this Jinvani, has come from Tirthankars only. And from Tirthankar's divine sound, this has come to us in the form of these books. So if as we study these books and our knowledge gets upgraded, gradually, and gradually that effect of delusion also goes away, and there will be a time when that delusion has completely been wiped out. Either it is destroyed or it is subsided. So in present circumstances, it cannot be destroyed, okay? Because we are into now the 5th era. If it would have been a 4th era, we could have destroyed it itself. But now we are not able to destroy it. So what we do is we subsidize it. So, when we subsidize it, when it is subsided, then we can have the correct understanding, and that is the time we achieve Samyak Darshan, right belief, self-realization, and that is the beginning of the path of liberation. So by knowing this, the correct nature of the soul and the correct nature of the matter and the body, we can exercise discriminative knowledge. And when we can exercise this discriminative knowledge, we can attain real happiness. And this is all, we all wish to be happy. And so this is the first knowledge, we can say, this is the first lesson in the series of discriminative knowledge. And as this Balbodh is written for kids of 5-6 years old, so from 5-6 year old only they know that they are the soul and not the body. We can ourselves attain Godhood by understanding the reality about the living and the non-living. So by discriminative knowledge by discriminating between a living and a non-living being, and then getting absorbed in the living being, we can attain Godhood. And that is how the gods have become God. Those who are gods now, they were like us only previously. And with this kind of knowledge, they kept acquiring this knowledge and practicing discriminative knowledge. They have become a god themselves. And we are also following in his footsteps, and we are also understanding the scriptures, and the scriptures always motivates us to experience ourselves or to realize ourselves, and that is the beginning. So this was very important chapter from the point of view of practicing discriminative knowledge. Okay, so living and non-living beings. Now the next chapter is about daily timetable. So it's not a very routine chapter, okay, not a very great chapter for understanding, but still we should follow some rituals, in our day-to-day life, and how should we organize our life, and basically
Sir, I had a question.
yeah.
I wanted to ask, what are Jainism's views on the mind? Like, is it considered as part of the body or the soul?
It is a part of the body, mind. But there is a very fine line between a knowledge and a mind, Of course, mind is a part of the body, but our knowledge is connected with this mind. So sometimes we say knowledge is mind also in a conventional viewpoint, okay? But actually, the mind is a part of our body. So mind, speech, and body, all these three things are matter. And just like a robot, as a robot is trained and functions, it functions many of the functions. Similarly, our body is again just like a robot. It's a material thing, and it does not have knowledge. It does not have perception. It does not feel pain and pleasure, So that's why when a soul goes away, the dead body has eyes, ears, nose, tongue, everything is there, but still it cannot perform any of the functions because the powerhouse was the soul. It was from the soul that the knowledge was coming out, emitting, and it was functioning primarily through these 5 senses and mind. Okay. But once that soul goes away, those are just like a dead body. And it is not only when the soul goes away that it is a dead body, it is still a dead body right now also. Even if we are alive, even if we are alive, still the body is a dead body itself. So whatever activities that is through mind, speech and body is not our activity. It is the activity of the material substance. Okay, it's an activity of a matter. So this is the first thing that we should understand, and for that this chapter is of living and the non-living.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So just one thing wanted to clarify. So from what I understand, living beings are those who have the power to kind of gain knowledge and kind of can interpret or they can perceive. Whereas non-living things do not possess this.
Yes.
Which is one is the soul, one is the body. Now, we say that body is non-living because even if the eyes or the ears had the ability to perceive, then why can a dead body not perceive, right? Because it still has those organs.
Right.
Now, if whereas this is the view that Jainism preaches. But when we talk to people who are, let's say doctors or people who are in the scientific profession, for them, this understanding will not make sense. But they will also have this counter argument saying that, even when a body dies, the organs are live for a certain period or something of that sort. So, if there is any, not that we want to get into a discussion, but if at all there is a discussion, and if we want to kind of explain that how our logic prevails over the logic that science has, uh, yeah, I'm like, how can we explain it to them? Maybe because from what I understand is this: the body cannot function without the soul, but it is either ways. Even the soul, to kind of know and perceive, it needs the body. So both of them are correlated, and one cannot function without the other.
So now we have this knowledge called sensory knowledge. Okay. And because of this sensory knowledge, we are functioning through the medium of these 5 senses and mind. Okay. But if we increase our knowledge and if it becomes even it becomes a clairvoyance, even it becomes a telepathy, and even it becomes a omniscience. All these 3 are knowledge, but they are not functioning through 5 senses. So there are 5 types of knowledge: sensory knowledge, scriptural knowledge, clairvoyance. Clairvoyance, they can know about some calculated distance, and that what is happening over there you can know from here, and there is no senses involved there. Similarly, telepathy, which is only with the monk, only monk that can that knowledge, and because of that telepathy, he can know what the other people is thinking right now. The monk can know what you are thinking right now. So how come they know about it? It is just because of their knowledge of telepathy. And that also does not involve any of the five senses or the mind. And omniscience, of course, knows everything, simultaneously, past, present, future, all put together. And it is also not performing through senses. So it is because of our limited knowledge of, sensory knowledge and the scriptural knowledge that we are performing this through five senses. Otherwise, knowledge is from the soul itself and it is functioning independently. But now, just because we are in this life, human life, we have this two knowledge only, Mati Gyan and Shuddh Gyan. And then there is Avdi Gyan, clairvoyance, all the Dev, heavenly beings and the hellish beings have this clairvoyance knowledge. And through this knowledge, they are able to make out that in previous birth you had inflicted so much pain on me, and all these things. And that's why they keep on fighting there. And but those knowledge are direct knowledge. So there are two types of knowledge. One is direct knowledge, that is directly from the soul. And then there is the indirect knowledge, that is through five senses and mind.
Got
I
it.
hope your question has been answered, Urja.
Yeah, yes.
So coming on to the scientist people, those scientist community as a whole, they also have very limited knowledge, but whatever is given in our scriptures, that is all because that has come through the omniscience. Okay, and omniscience is having a complete knowledge, and we also possess that quality of knowledge with us, but we have not been able to manifest it, its true function or true nature, So we have this now sensory knowledge and the scriptural knowledge. That is the limitations that we have now. But this knowledge of sensory knowledge and scriptural knowledge is enough for us to experience ourselves. Okay. It may not have a knowledge like clairvoyance. It may not have a knowledge like a telepathy. It may not have a knowledge like omniscience. But through the scriptures and we know about everything in this universe through the scriptures. So we may not have the direct knowledge, but through indirectly we know all these things. So we are living beings, and all other living beings for me are non-living. Now this is something extra. So we are a living being, like I myself am a living being, okay? But for me, all the other living beings of this universe, okay, is a non-living for me. So you may be a soul in yourself, but for me, you are a non-soul element. Okay. So this is a more subtle viewpoint. Okay. So all the there are total 6 types of substances, out of which soul is one, and it is only the knowing substance. All other substances like matter, then medium of motion, medium of rest, then space and time. These are the 6 substances, and out of the 6, only soul is a knower and experiencer of pleasure and pain. So for a soul, for my soul, for me, all other souls are in the category of non-living beings, because for me those are non-living beings. So this is how you keep on practicing discriminative knowledge, and with this practice you will be able to dwell deep into yourself. You'll be able to dwell deep into the spiritual knowledge, and you will be able to identify yourself.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Mhm.
Yes, I would like to understand more about I am a living being and all other souls are non-living beings to me. I thought we are supposed to see others as Chaitanya, see their substance. Of course, their body, their actions are non-livings, but they also have a soul. So is that correct to see them as their substance?
So they are soul in themselves. That is very true. But for me, that particular soul is a non-living being for me. Because the main reason is that my knowledge, my perception does not lie there. Okay. So my perception and my knowledge is only within me, and that is what I am. And apart from me, whatever else is there is non-living for me. Just because my knowledge and my perception is not there. So this way we can make the discrimination. Okay. So I am myself a soul, and all other objects and all other living beings are non-soul for me. Similarly, for them, all other souls are non-living being to them. So each soul is a living being for himself, but for others it is a non-soul. So this way we can practice.
Yes, I think I read it from a book. I think what you said is similar to I am self and all others are non-self. Then I can
Yes.
understand. But if you change it to non-living, then I'm kind of confused.
Yeah.
So non-self, self and non-self, right?
Right. So I am self and everything else is non-self for me. Good. Anyone else having a question? It is always good to have questions in mind, and clarify it. And we have got such a unique treasure, I really, even after so many years of studies and on a regular basis and going deep further into it, I am still not able to, I can say, make a concrete decision about the uniqueness of the soul. It has so many qualities, and as you discover each qualities, you say, oh, I'm such a great person, I'm such a great personality. You feel so happy about yourself that, oh, you're so lucky to have this. So it's a very good feeling for all of us that we are studying this knowledge together.
So just to conclude, that, so basically this line that I am a living being and all other souls are non-living, instead of that, we say that I am self and all others are non-self. And when we look at other souls as like what I have been taught, that, हर किसी को भगवान आत्मा देखो या समझो. So even if you see an ant and you see कि अच्छा मतलब मर रहा है कोई बात नहीं, it's okay, it's just an ant, but then you see that that is equivalent to a life, equivalent to a soul, and it has as it is, its life is as important as your life is, only the body is different.
Yes.
Correct?
It possesses the same amount of qualities that we have, okay, and it is not it is the same as our soul, okay. It is nowhere we can say inferior to our soul. It is as complete as our soul, and for that reason the body may be a non-living thing, but the soul inside is a living being, and when we inflict pain upon their body, they also experience that pain, So just now we studied that I can know and perceive, and at the same time I can also feel the pleasure and pain. So how can we inflict pain on others when we know that this is going to bring unhappiness to them? So that's why we always take care that intentionally we don't inflict or don't do any kind of violence on this small insects, 1 cent, 2 cents. There are so many insects, there are so many lives, 1 sense being, which even we are not able to see through our eyes. It is all because of omniscience knowledge that we know. Even very recently it was discovered that plant has also life. The modern science discovered it just recently. Acharya Jagdish Chandra Bose established this relation that plant is also a living being. But our omniscience has said this since time immortal.
What is the word blind?
Pardon?
You mentioned that what is also a living being?
Plant.
Could you spell it?
Plant, plant, trees and all.
Trees. Oh, plant.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, plant is alive. We all know that already. Why do we need science to prove?
No, science only proved recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Acharya Jagdish Chandra Bose, he was an Indian scientist and he proved it to the universe that plant has also life.
But I thought we always think plants are alive.
If you search on Google and you write just Jagdish Chandra Bose, I think it is not more than 100 years. So 100 years ago, people were not believing that plant has a life. So there are many things which will come across, and still today the science is not able to prove it. But our omniscient Tirthankar have all mentioned in their knowledge, So anyway, we are coming to this chapter of daily timetable, and I would like who has noted? Arunji. Read this whole chapter. Yes.
Yeah, hi sir. 1 second. The one on the screen, right?
Yeah.
Teacher, boys, I shall examine your teeth and nails today. Ramesh, tell me for how many days you have not taken your bath. Ramesh, sir, I take my bath daily. Teacher, legs and hands of those who bathe daily are not so dirty. You just pour 2 or 3 mugs of water. That is not real bath. You should clean your body by rubbing it with a towel. Similarly, one should clean one's teeth every morning. Otherwise, they start giving foul smell. The teeth get weakened and fall off. Suresh, sir, I take my bath in the evening. Teacher, we must do things in their proper time. Our daily activities must be based on a timetable and we should follow that always. Ramesh, sir, kindly prepare a timetable for us. We shall follow it from today. Teacher, every boy should get up before sunrise. First of all, he should chant the Namokar mantra 9 times. Then he should think over the nature of the soul in order to purify his mind. Student, does mind also become impure? Teacher, yes, as the body becomes unclean by the outside dirt, etc., so our mind becomes impure by delusion, attachment, and aversion. Just as our bodies become clean by bathing, etc., so by virtue of understanding the nature of our soul and the perfect soul, our mind become, become purified. We should take care of the inner and the outer purity. Ramesh, what next? Teacher, After ablution, one should clean one's teeth and take bath. One should then put on clean clothes and go to the temple for having darshan. Points regarding Dev Darshan were explained to you the other day. Then one should have one's breakfast and go to school or study at home. One should take the morning meal peacefully between 10 to 11 a.m. Every boy should be free from his evening meal before sunset. One should not take his meal during the night. One should study up to 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. as long as one can concentrate. Afterwards, one should remember one's own soul and those of the liberated beings and go to bed quietly. All students, from today, we shall follow this timetable and will maintain cleanliness both of the body and the soul.
Just give me a minute, huh? I'll come back. So this chapter is a very simple one. We can have our daily routine according to our priorities. But one thing that is very certain, that when we get up in the morning, the first thing that we should do is chant the Namokar mantra. Okay. And of course, in the whole schedule of daily schedule, we should put Dev Guru Shastra as a priority, and so for that reason we should go to the temple, and we should also have time for little bit of time for this religious studies, even if we are very busy. And of course, when we have holidays, we can have further more time for studies. So this is something that we can follow. Then there is a very good thing that the feelings of the manifestation of delusion, attachment, and aversion makes our mind impure. So this was very important as we unclean our body, by our body becomes unclean because of the dirt and everything. Similarly, our minds also become impure by delusion, attachment, and aversion. So these three things, delusion is moh, attachment is rag, and aversion is dvesh. Okay. So these three feelings constitute the whole of, I would say, the cause of the miseries that the human being is suffering. Okay. So how do we can avoid this delusion, attachment, and aversion? So the first part is getting rid of the delusion. And once we get rid of the delusion, the attachment and aversions will go away automatically, gradually. Like in our real life, we all have some bad habits that we don't want to do in the first place, but still we are not able to, avoid those cravings. So how do we get rid of those bad habits? So our acharyas has given us a very simple technique. They say that you get involved in good things in life, the bad things will automatically go away. Okay. So as a small kid, he was playing with the sands and muds, and the mother wants that kid to leave that sands and everything muds from his hand. So what she does is she offers chocolate or maybe candy, to that kid, and that kid automatically leaves that sand and everything, whatever is in hand, and rushes towards mother to take that candy. So similarly, our acharyas tells us that you get involved in good things in life, you get involved in this kind of studies, automatically your bad habits will go away. So we should also set up our timetable, and we should follow it very sincerely. Because if our schedule is not set, we'll waste a lot of time. And if we are well organized, we start completing our task one by one. As all of you must have to-do list, we have to-do list every day. In the morning, we see that what is to be done today. And by the end of the day, we always check up at how many tasks we have completed and what are left over. And again, we make a to-do list for tomorrow. So this is how we keep ourselves very organized and busy, and take steps one by one. So we should have also a fixed daily timetable for us also.
I just have a question to ask.
Yeah,
Of course, this is the ideal timetable,
right,
but this timetable is one of the reasons why our younger generation, they are not attached to the temples and things because of the change in routine. Even the sun and the moon has changed its cycles. We have the climate change. We have seasons very different from what we used to have earlier. We don't have winters even till December. So
right,
if the Dev Darshan is done in the afternoon,
right.
is it not the same? Or
See,
done as per the convenience of the children? A child goes to school at 7 a.m. in the morning.
right,
How can he go to the temple wearing different clothes, clean clothes? School
right,
dress तो अपन repeat करते हैं ना, बच्चे
right,
रोज रोज
right,
तो school dress.
right. You are absolutely right. But this is the ideal best practices that has been given here. Now we have to customize it. Now, if you are staying at a place where there is no temple nearby, then what you do? But still you manage, no? So there is always good, better, best. So best is always given here. It motivates us, but we should customize it according to our situations in life. Okay. So if you don't have a temple in nearby you, then what you can do is you can pray to the Jinwani. You can keep a Jinwani at a elevated state. Okay.
That's doable.
Yeah. And then first you can get up in the morning, take bath, and then you can go to that Jinwani and chant the Namokar mantra and other stutis. You can do even puja, Dev, Shastra, Guru. All three are in equal parameters, as far as our adoration is concerned. So you can even do with Shastra also. So whatever, wherever, now we don't have a Guru presently, right? So still we are managing, no? We are managing through temples, we are managing through God, we are managing through scriptures. So it is just a simple daily timetable that a kid should follow, that has been written. But as you said, if the school timings are 7 o'clock, how do we manage that? So it becomes difficult. But I'll tell you, there are some students I see in our temple. They come with the school dress, and they take out their shoes, they take out their socks, and then they do the darshan, and that also very calmly, hardly 6-7-year-olds, brother and sister both. So the sister is the elder one. So then, of course, these are the two kids. Others don't come only in the morning because of this school and all. But still, I feel that their parents should be appreciated, because it is the parents who takes them to the temple, and this is the struggle that they are going through right now. Okay, and this is going to bring such a nice, I can say, consequences going forward. So we don't look at the results, we look at the efforts. So of course there is a struggle there, and there is something extra effort that you have to put in. But if you look at the result, it's coming back to you multiple times. You cannot even imagine that how lucky we are right now that we have access to this kind of things. You go and ask those who are looking to, find this kind of education or preachings or teachings through which they can get liberated, but people are not getting it. So it is always like that, whatever is available to us, we don't have a value to it. And, we always feel that we don't have this, we don't have that. But our Acharya says that whatever you have, you exercise the best option in them. And automatically your auspicious karmas will increase, and you will have those karma coming into uday or rise of those karmas, and you will have all the good things in life. Now I can tell you something, that in the next birth, what you will become in the next birth. Now you imagine yourself with the kind of studies that we have done so far. Based on that, you imagine what could be your next birth. Definitely it is not going to be a hellish being. Okay. It is not going to be since you are reading scriptures and you are trying to live a very ethical life, it is not going to be a subhuman state. Okay. So hellish has been ruled out, subhuman state has been ruled out. So we are left with Dev, God, celestial beings, and the human being. So these two are already an auspicious state of existence. And the other two are always an inauspicious state of existence. So with the whatever you do right now is going to bring fruition. Okay. So those students, there are some students who have this school in the afternoon. Some school starts at 10 o'clock, some at 11 o'clock. I had, when I was from class 6th onwards, up to class 5, we were having morning school, and then 6th onwards, I had a afternoon school from 10:30 to 4 o'clock, So, so similar kind of arrangement can also be made. And as a parents, we can also select the schools which brings us a comfort that we can go to the temple in the morning and come back and have breakfast and then go to school. So everything can be managed. When there is a will, there is a way. As simple as that. So there may be some problems with some students, So those you have to either manage it or you can change it. So it again depends how much importance you give to religion, how much importance you give to education. So we have people in our community here in Borivali Samaj, where they give preference to this Pathshala, They feel that if he studies less, it will be okay. Because at the end of the day, everyone gets according to their auspicious and inauspicious karmas. I may be a topper in the class, but now if you look my other friends who are right now in the profession, they might have reached a very big position, and I may not have done very good in life. So it all depends on luck. It is not your intelligence that is bringing the money. So they give preference to this kind of pathshalas and other activities. For them, this is important. Now then there are others who don't send to pathshala only. They said that this is the time we should make the career. Even a 5-6-year-old kid has so much tension in his life, and they are getting diabetes now at a very earlier age. They have specs at a very earlier age. Everything is deteriorating, the quality of life is deteriorating. So it all depends on us, what we want to do in life, and accordingly we can take calls. So a question was asked to Gurudev Sri Kanji Swami, that we have job and we have to go to offices in a city like Bombay. It takes 1.5 hour traveling to reach to the office and then attending. Then how can we avoid Ratri Bhojan, night food? So what Gurudev said, you leave the job. He simply said you leave the job. Now, it depends where you are connected to. So somebody who's connected with the religion very deeply, he would say you leave the job, because he knows that by luck, he will get the money anyways. Even if he's doing the job, if he's not doing the job, whatever has to come has to come. And if something has not to come, even if you slot it out from say 8 in the morning to 10 in the evening, and still you don't make it, it's very difficult to make two ends meet. There are people like that also. So, as I said, it is all on our mindset, how we perceive it and how we want to execute it. So, if you give preference to this Dev Shastra Guru, of course, your auspicious karma will increase and you will get all the desired things, it is just because of auspicious karma, it is because of just auspicious karma, rise of auspicious karma, that your desires are fulfilled. And if the auspicious karma is not there, you may desire whatever you feel like, but that are never met. So we know everything about this. Now it is upon us what we want to give preference to.
Very
now
true.
let's
Very true. It's just the timings is a problem. We definitely Dev
yeah.
Shastra
So there are ways out. You, as I said, you can change the school, or you can always make some modifications here and there. I know there was a friend of mine, and later on when he came to Bombay, after so many years we met, and he said his son is not able to talk and is not able to hear also. So for that particular reason, he was in Kolkata. I was also born and brought up in Kolkata. So they shifted from Kolkata to Chennai to have access to that school which specializes in this kind of teaching for this kind of students, So they changed their residence, they changed their business, and they went to Chennai. Of course, they were very well off, so they could afford to it. But still, I said, for the sake of education, they changed the state. So why can't we do such things for the sake of religion? That religion that is going to bring us everything. Everything I said, I mean everything. Whatever the good things that you have got in life is just because of auspicious karma. And when you get involved in this kind of studies, you bound the highest level of auspicious karma that is going to take ahead in the path of liberation in the next birth. So in the next birth, you may become a Chakravarti. In the next birth, you can become an Indra. In the next birth, you can become a king, a prince. What this auspicious karma brings that you don't have the idea. So I have always seen, and I have myself done this, I can say I have practiced this kind of preferences in my life. And I retired from business at the age of 44. Today I am 56. So it is 12 years that I have left business. I don't do any business. Just because of auspicious karma that rose, and I had enough money to become financially independent and to pursue my passion, whatever I have interest in. And not only this, there are some people, we have very little of this kind category in India, but in abroad, there are people who earns money and they spend those money traveling across the world. And again, when their money gets over, they start working again. So there are people like that kind of also. So I have seen this struggle, and I have always found out that I am always a winner. And that winner, to what degree? That is again a big question. As I said, you will bind auspicious karma, but what category? As I said, in the next birth, you don't have to work. Similarly, in this birth also, you will experience that this punya can bring very good things in life. Now, this access to Parmagam honors course, this course is in existence since 8 years. But why you were not able to get it 8 years ago, and why today? And why not many people are having access to this? Again, because of auspicious karma. So we all bind auspicious karma. Even if you are not able to go to a temple daily, okay? But you can always have bhavana that I want my residence to be near temple. And you will see that within a span of 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, you will have a residence near temple. So it is all about what you contemplate, what you give priority to, and accordingly our destiny shapes up. So it is the other way around. People go after things, material things, and we here we go after the studies, and the material things automatically comes to us. Now today I get up in the morning and I study only. I don't have any tension where the money will come from, how we will sustain, if there is a certain big expense in the family, what we will do. No worries. My only relation with the money is that there is an ATM in our building. I go to the ATM and draw money whenever I require it, that much. So in a city like Bombay, and who doesn't want money? And there is no end to that money, You keep on earning, and as more money comes in, your greed goes on increasing, and you are not able to achieve your target anytime. So everything is there in this life, but now you have to decide what you want to do. Now tomorrow, today itself, I may die. There are people getting heart attack and going away immediately, on the spot. So I may experience an attack right now, and I may die. Then all this, my business, money, what it is going to do for me? Nothing. So I am lucky that I have spent 12 years in studies this. Okay, and if I die today, I don't have anything to regret for. I'm so happy that I know that I never die, the soul never dies, and the body has come with a fixed duration. So it will go. Okay. But I am not going anywhere. No, I am the soul. I am again with full qualities. And even I had been to hell, and I had been to subhuman state in the past. Okay. But still, I never lost a single quality. I am absolutely safe. So when I was not knowing anything about me, I am still safe. So now I know that I am a soul. So how can anything come in between and disturb me? So you have to just make the correct understanding. You have to just make the correct decision. And everything, the destiny will revolve around you. We are not dependent on destiny. The destiny is dependent on us. So this is the teachings that we get from our acharyas. So it is against, as a few minutes ago, Madam May told us that we are going against the flow. We are against going where the world is moving in one direction, we are moving in the another direction. So how can our priorities, how can our taste, how can our choices match with the worldly people? It's not going to match, and we never regret for that. We are always happy with the choices that we have made, and what we are is the choice that we have made. So it all depends on us. And I will tell you one thing, if you are able to do this kind of practice in your day-to-day life, you will see that your auspicious karma, it multiplies in a very high proportionate manner. As I said, I have left business 12 years ago, but I am getting money. The business that I established, I never thought that I can sell that business. But there was a person who came and said, I want to take over a business. And I already wanted to leave that business. So you can see such a coincidence happening is a very rare thing. And I got a very good handsome amount, which I never expected, which I never thought of as a goodwill. And my whole staff and everything he took over, and he gave me a lump sum money as a goodwill, and which I never paid. I established this business on my own, so I never paid anything for that business, and I still got a person to take over it. And it relieved me of the staff that I was having. It relieved me of the office space that I was owning, and I could sell that office, and I could put everything money on a fixed deposits, okay, not in equities also, where there is always a fluctuation. I don't want more money, no. So this is something enough for me. So these are the choices that you have to take. And how many people can take this kind of choices? Now again, it's very simple calculation. It all boils down to your belief in 7 fundamental elements: Jeev, Ajeev, Asrav, Bandh, Punya, Pap, Samvar, Nirjara, Moksha. Only 7 elements or 9 elements. So in that 7 elements, there is one Asrav Tattva, and Asrav has 2 divisions. One is Punya and one is Pap. So this Punya and Pap is also playing a role. In fact, that is the role that we are getting all kinds of good and bad things in life because of Punya and Pap. And that is something we have bound earlier. So if you are taking an aggressive call, that is what I want to come to the conclusion, then you will never repent if it is about the true God, true Dev, true Guru, and true Shastra. So we should always give priority to that. So our daily timetable, our lifestyle, everything should reflect the priorities that we have in our mind regarding this Dev, Shastra, Guru. I hope I have answered it very clearly.
Yeah, clearly, and changed our minds also.
Yes. So
Like, we
this
have
is
to
the
be-
call you have to take, and nobody will tell you to do this thing. But I have done not one experiment I'm talking about. I've done multiple experiments, and every time I have come out on top. And that top is such a place that is beyond imagination. Now, what should I can say more? The words are not there to explain that feeling, but it is always nice to have this kind of preference in your life, and you will see that other things come. They come. You don't miss out on that also. So here you are having best of both the world, and there you are not even getting what you should get just because of your wrong choices. So it may happen that you may not have a temple in near your home right now, but with your what we call bhavna.
Bhavna bhasakta.
So because of that bhavna, all things will come. You will get samosaran. You will get samosaran next month. You can get samosaran. You can get monk food. And you will get liberated. That is for sure. So when we are getting liberated, what else matters for us? Nothing. So we will be enjoying right now also, and we will be enjoying in the future also. Okay. So happiness, happiness, happiness everywhere. So this is the treasure that we have got, and we should put in the right efforts in the right direction, and with right guidance, we will reach the right destination. So the next chapter is very inspiring for us. The things that we were talking, you can
Oh,
see.
sir, I have a question.
Yes, yes.
Sir, why do we have to recite the Naukar mantra 9 times? Is there any significance of that number 9?
No, there is not any significance. It has been a tradition, but there are scholars who have given a logic to it that man, vachan, kai, 3 into krut, karit, anumodna. So 3 into 3 is 9. So that is one of the logics given, but it is not necessarily the right knowledge. It has been a tradition, and why it has been a tradition, that tradition answers itself, that there is no logic behind that. Like there are some things we cannot give reason to that, like why there are 7 days in a week, why there are 12 months in a year, why there are 365 days. Can you answer that question? No. So similarly, there are some unanswered questions, and as I said, logic, scholars have given logic, but that is a true logic or not, that we don't have any proof for that. So we take as it is. And as I said, we are only concerned with our happiness, okay? And whether we chant it for 9 times or 11 times or 5 times, what difference does it make to that teaching? So there are always some questions which are very purposeful for us, and there are some questions which are not related to our path of liberation, or which are not related to our happiness. So there are many things that I don't know, but I don't mind. I don't want to know also. Okay, how much was the weight of Sumeru Parvat, and how much is the height of Sumeru Parvat, and there are many things that are there in the scriptures. I'm not aware of it, but how does it matter if the Sumeru Parvat is of 12 jojan or it may be 20 jojan? What difference does it make to me? So there are some questions, this kind of questions. So at best we can leave it as it is. When we'll attain omniscience knowledge, we will have answer to all of that. So that is the shortest cut. You want to know everything, you manifest omniscience knowledge. And to manifest knowledge, you have to absorb on yourself. And to absorb in yourself, you have to know first yourself. And to know yourself, we are studying. We don't have any other way, to know ourselves. So I hope you have also got your answer. Not
Yes,
only
sir.
to this question, but similar many questions keeps on coming to our mind, but we should be least concerned about those, and we should be concerned with those things which are directly related to our happiness, because at the end of the day, we want to be happy, and there is a shortcut available, and that is what we are into it. So maybe 2 years down the line, you will have complete knowledge about all the principles, and then the next 3 years we will be just practicing through the books that the acharyas have written, through the books that the learned scholars have written, and we will sharpen our knowledge. That's all. So first 2 years is what the fundamental principles are all about, and the next 3 years is just practicing those principles and putting it into our life. So it is going to be, I can say that in your career, whatever you are doing, there is no guarantee that you will reach a position that you have thought of in your mind. But here, you will reach such a position. Actually, the efforts are truly rewarded here in the path of liberation. And those are just a byproduct of punya and pap, auspicious and inauspicious karma. So somebody may be very intelligent, very bright future. Now you have seen some cricketers, very budding cricketers, who began with a very good performance, and subsequently they got into poor performances, and they are nowhere here in the scene. So it is always like that. It all depends on luck. So there are a lot of factors involved when somebody gets a opportunity, lot of factors, not only one factor, but a lot of factors coming into play, and you are getting that opportunity. And to tap that opportunity, again, you need a lot of factors, other factors. And to really accomplish it, again, there are a lot of other factors. So we never know what is playing what, where, what is playing our way. Only thing we know that we want to know ourselves. And once we know ourselves, we can just enjoy whatever is coming into the life. Okay. Even if there is an adverse situation, if you are trained in this technique, you will enjoy in that situation also, in that adverse situation also. As you know, our monks, there are upsarga on these monks, Then sometimes the sea comes and attacks the Muniraj, and sometimes a snake comes, and sometimes whatever. They are in the jungle always meditating. So somebody puts a dead snake, and on that dead snake there are countless ants which has accumulated in that dead snake. And still the monk is in self-meditation itself. He is not removing that snake from his body also. So you can imagine that the kind of happiness that they are extracting, what is happening outside does not impact them. So we are talking of monks. Now we can take at our level also, there are many problems in our day-to-day life. But if you understand this technique and you apply it, you will see that there is no problem at all. There is no tension at all. There is no anxiety at all. There is no depression at all. But still people are suffering. Okay. So a lot of good discussions. This discussion really helps us to continue in these studies. Otherwise, people feel that, oh, ye to kuch bhi nahi hai, to baad mein bhi kar lenge. And one thing that we have seen in Parmagam honors, that these youngsters have joined, and they have, done it their grasping is so good, and their style of working is so professional. In the other batch that has started simultaneously with this one, young team leader, maybe hardly 25, he must be, he's in India now, but actually he's in USA. So he's coming tomorrow to meet me. So he's just only 25, but what he does, after the class is over, he writes a summary on the class and share it in the group. So others can also read it. Now, nobody has told him to do that, but he's doing it on his own. And while he's studying, he writes a lot of notes, good points, and then that's how he is able to share. So there are youngsters I have seen who have taken these things in a very prioritized manner, I would say, and they are really enjoying their life. And also, as I said, good things are also coming to their life. So you will also have a similar feeling. You are also in the similar situation. So you will also you are also going to have a very good time ahead in your life. So be very confident, prioritize this in your life, and of course you will be a winner always. So any other questions? We have still 15 minutes left, and this Bhagwan Adinath, we can just read it, very small chapter. And this story of Adinath is also going to inspire us. This is our Pratman Yog, where we learn stories of great personalities like Tirthankar, Chakravarti, and other Salaka Purush, So this great personality. So we also learn from their life that they also had a similar situation in life, and they They came out of it, and they have become God. So our every story of Pratman Yoga ends and the character or the protagonist, chief character, becoming a god. As we used to say in Bollywood movies, that in the end everyone should meet, to end that movie. So similarly, in our every story of Pratman Yoga, there is a salvation of the character, the chief character. So this story we will see that how Bhagwan Adinath started, and from there how he became a Tirthankar and how he got liberated. So Shefali ji, you can try reading this chapter, the full chapter. You are not able to unmute, suppose. Labdi, you can try.
Hello?
Yeah.
Jain sir.
Okay. Yeah, Shefalji, you can read. Start reading.
So the first page heading I can't see. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Daughter, Mummy, let us go home. Mother, just wait. Let me recite Bhaktambar Stotra. Daughter, what is Bhaktambar Stotra? Mother, it is a devotional poem in which Bhagwan Adinath has been adored. Daughter, Mummy, who was Adinath, in whose adorations thousands of people recite this poem? So the mother replies, he was a god. He knew all the things of the world. He was perfectly happy because he was devoid of delusion, attachment, and aversion. Then the daughter asked, had he been unattached and omniscient since birth? Mother, no, my dear. He achieved the state of non attachment and omniscience by his supreme efforts. Born in Ayodhya, he was the son of King Nabhirai and Maru Devi, the queen. Daughter, Prince, he was. Did he not rule? Mother, yes, he ruled and married also. He had two wives. Nanda was his first wife, who bore 100 sons, including Bharat Chakravarti and a daughter Brahmi. His second wife was Sunanda, who bore Bahubali and a daughter Sundari. Daughter, so were Bharat Chakravarti and Bahubali, sons of Adinath. Mother, Adinath attained godhood later in life. He was simply King Rishabdev at that time. Since he was the first Tirthankar, he was called Adinath. One day, Nilanjana was dancing in his court. During the course of the dance, Nilanjana passed away. Seeing this, he realized the transitoriness of the world, forsook the royal life, and became a saint. For 6 months, he remained absorbed in contemplation. For the next 6 months also, he did not get food due to his self-imposed conditions. After an year on a certain day, King Shreyans gave him sugarcane juice for the first time. Since then, the day has been celebrated as Akshay Tritiya festival in India. Daughter, did he become omniscient immediately after becoming a saint? Mother, no, my dear. For 1000 years, he remained in the state of self absorption. One day, he obtained perfect knowledge in that state and began to preach his gospel, which showed the path of liberation to the world. Daughter, so you offer your prayers to him. I shall also do the same. Will he show me also the path of liberation? Mother, by all means, offer your prayers to him, leaving the glories of the Samavsaran, the religious court. He became a perfectly liberated soul. The way to liberation, as preached by him, is shown to us by the enlightened souls. The persons who tread his path are his true devotees and can attain godhood in the same way.
So the main highlight of this whole story, very simple story, that
Yeah.
Rishabdev, our first Tirthankar, was a king, and he ruled for 83 lakh Purva. His total life was 84 lakh Purva, and Purva is also a very uh, big factor of time, you know. I may not know the exact meaning, exact calculation, but it's a very long life. So out of that 84 lakh Purva that he had lived, 83 lakh Purvas was spent in the household. And then he'd become a monk. So he was a king, and he had all the good things in life, but still he preferred to become a monk. Why? Can anybody answer? So we are just short of
Yeah.
time.
So, can I tell?
Hmm.
Because when he saw the death of the dancer, he realized that this was all worthless.
And there is no happiness in these
all
sensory objects. Okay.
Yeah.
And he knows that becoming a monk, I will be pursuing on myself. I will be pursuing to concentrate on my soul, and that is what going to bring the happiness to me. So for that reason, he left all this kingdom and the queens and the sons and the assets, whatever he had good things in life, and he become a monk. Because he knew that I also have to pass away someday. So why not getting into monkhood and getting liberated? So in those times, you know, whoever used to take a monkhood, they used to get liberated also, because that was the time when people were getting liberated. And there is a fixed number, 608, every 6 months and 8 samay, 608 jeeves always get liberated. This is a fixed universal rule. So
you say that again, please.
Every 6 months and 8 samay. Okay. Every 6 months and 8 samay, 608 souls go to liberation, and 608 soul do come out of Nigodh. Nigodh state.
Now we don't have such a rule.
Now is also the rule is there, but the liberation is not from this place right now. That's all. But there is a place called Lec04, wherein there is a Tirthankar always there present. You know, 20 Tirthankars are there at any point of time in Lec04, and somebody can go from here to there in the next birth, become a monk, and get liberated. It can be so much of fast, you know. The scripture mentions that in the first 3000 years, there will be 64 people who will get liberated in the next birth. So we are still at 2600 years. And in this 3000 years, 64 lives will go to salvation in the next birth. Then in the next 3000 years, there will be 32 people going to moksha in the next birth. Then in the next 3000 years, there will be 12 people who will be attending salvation in the next birth. Then there will be 8 people. Then there will be 4 people. And the last 3000 years of this present era, which is of 21,000 years, the last 3,000 years, there will be only one soul who will get liberated in the next birth. So these figures are given there, and how you can imagine how these figures has come. This has come through omniscient Tirthankar. So because of this Nilanjana's passing away, he understood the transitoriness of this world, and he forsook the royal life and became a saint. And then for the next, it took him 1000 years, to get into omniscience knowledge. And after getting omniscience knowledge, his Samosaran, there was a Samosaran holy assembly, and the divine sound also started coming out, and many people became samyak drashti, many people become monk, and many people got liberated in his presence. In fact, his son Bharat Chakravarti and his 100 grandsons, they all got liberated in front of him. So you can see that even becoming a king and having so much of wealth didn't stop him to taking into monkhood, and he attained the monkhood, and he meditated further for 1000 years to acquire that omniscience knowledge. And after acquiring omniscience knowledge, he preached it for a very long period, So 83 lakh was spent in the home only. Out of 1 lakh purva that was left over, 1000 years was spent in the getting the omniscience knowledge. And since from then, those years, he spent the time spreading the religion of Jainism. And that is how the religion has come to us. Living the glories of the Samosaran, the released God, he became a perfectly liberated soul. The way to liberation as preached by him is shown to us by the enlightened souls. The persons who tread his path are his true devotees and can attain godhood in the same way. So we can all attain godhood. Now one chapter is left over that we'll be taking up next week, last chapter, and then we will move on to Balbodh part 2. Okay. If you have any questions, we will just close for the day, and you can stay on class and we will have discussions.
Sir, today we are short of time, but in next class, can you just explain the concept of Samosaran?
There is I think we have something on that already in the syllabus, but still I will send you the study material on that, and maybe we can discuss also.
Okay, thank you, sir. I know few things, but nothing in detail as such.
No, I'll get the details and I'll send you across. And one must know what is the glories of a Samosaran.
Yes.
And people go there and they become a monk, and they get liberated also there and there. So such a unique opportunity for all of us to go to the Samosaran. But when we go to a mandir right now, in the local mandir, it is also as good as Samosaran. And that Pratima is itself just like a Tirthankar. It is also giving us the same message of Vitrata.
So in Dadar, we go to Plaza Mandir. There they have a very big Samosaran.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, you have a Samosaran mandir there.
What is the Mahapap that we did in the Pancham Kal, because of which we have all these limitations? We do not have a Tirthankara
so we have
Mahamudra.
done some pap also, and we have done some punya also. Because of punya only, even if we are in Panchamara, we are having access to this knowledge, which was very familiar in the 4th era. So actually, we are living in the 4th era. Technically speaking, we are living in the 4th era. We are surrounded by, the sadharmics, the scholars, and we have access to so much of study material. We have access to so much of CD pravachans. We have access to all kinds of things we are having. So we are having both pap and punya simultaneously going on. At the end of the day, it is the happiness that we are all concerned with, and if we are able to achieve it, we have done our duties. and the liberation will happen on its own, and we are not worried about the liberation also. But being happy in the present is what we aspire for, and this knowledge will bring happiness in the present stage only. So we are into the best college, we are into the best education, we are spending the time in the best possible way. So we are, I would say, we are very lucky. So we have done some path, of course, that's why we are born in the 5th era. But while along with path, we have done some punya also, so that we are having access to this kind of knowledge in the present time. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask multiple questions, but let me do the Mangla Stuti and then we can do it. निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है। 9 बार नौकार मंत्र।